Ladies and gentlemen, internationally renowned Australian horseman and entertainer Guy McLean is a proud Australian that has taken his beloved country to the world through his horsemanship, bush poetry, double-handed stock whip mastery, to show what his treasured homeland is all about. From Queensland Bush to the bright lights of Las Vegas and New York City and every major equine festival in between, please put your hands together and welcome Guy McLean of Queensland, Australia.
Wow. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for what you just said, sir. That was so beautiful. It was like I wrote it myself, which I did. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk a little slow because I know there's a lot of echo here. And I've always also been told by some lovely people, we really like what you do. We can't understand a word you say. I say, that's all right, mate. I can't understand what you say either. So what I'm going to do today, because I get to go at the back end of your incredible horse show. How about a big round of applause for those heavy horses? Aren't they beautiful? They're so beautiful. And I'll tell you what I love most about them is my wonderful grandfather, Norman McLean. He was a market gardener during the war in Australia, and he had Clydesdales. So whenever I see them, I think of my pa. So thank you so much for keeping alive the traditions of when we needed horses for war, for transport, and for everything in between. You know what? We don't need them for that anymore, but now we need them for other reasons. We need them to teach our children humility and honesty and work ethic and life morals that aren't being taught in school anymore. They're not being taught in lots of places, but horses will teach you every day if you're prepared to listen. What I'm going to do today, instead of an action-packed 15 minutes, I might work for 30 minutes, and I'm going to train and show you how what I do at home, which is different to what I do in a performance. So if you'd like to come from the other end, if you'd like to come and sit in these seats to be closer, I'm going to be working here and we'd love to see you. Just so you know, I look much better from down there than I do up close. So I'm going to leave all four horses standing still, then I'm going to push on them, and I'm going to let them go out and be horses for a little bit, because it's important that they get to do that. You know, horses aren't born and bred to be kept in stables. They're born and bred to be out in amongst other horses and to have a good life. I do want you quickly, though, if you want a photo of them looking clean, take it now. Because I've spent a couple of hours this morning making sure they look pretty. They're going to ruin that in about 15 seconds. So if you think they look pretty, take a photo now. And you'll notice, for those of you who know me, you'll notice that my Mr. Incredible, just leave that, leave it. My Mr. Incredible Spin Abbey, my wonderful horse that's closest to me here, he's working at Liberty today. You'll notice Lightning with the white face is signing autographs over there. That's what he likes to do. And I've just realised something. I don't need to come out and do anything special. I just let them do this because you seem to be enjoying it more than my show. You'll notice how much control I have because I can actually make them roll with my hand. It's really hard because he's big. I'm going to sit him up. Oh, it's wonderful. Look at the control. All these horses used to be white. Very good. So to me, this is more horsemanship than what you're going to see in a minute. I'm going to wear my arm out. This here, allowing them to be horses, is so important, because they need to know who they are. They are trained to a very high level, but they must never forget who they are and what they stand for. Lightning is the youngest of my team, and he is giggling right now because he knows I've got to wash him. Thanks, Lightning. And you've got a cough, so you're not going to want to be washed in the wet. So as far as I'm concerned, they've allowed to be horses now. Now I'm going to show you the things that I would do at home. I'll quite often work with them in their open pasture. When I'm training them in their early stages, I will work them in a small round pen. I'm very blessed to be sponsored by one of the greatest round pen makers in the world in Prefoot Rodeo and Ranch Equipment. And Nate Prefect, the middle boy, if I need a round pen beside the barn, he lets me put one there. So we have wonderful facilities. What I will get you to do, please, is to just stand back far enough from the fence that if the horses get close to the fence and turn around and swing their heads, that they're not going to knock into you, especially for the children. My horses, they love children. They couldn't eat a full one, but they love them. Get it? They couldn't eat one completely, but they like the taste. Okay, I'm not going to tell jokes. I'm going to work horses. What I'm going to do is push on these four, and you'll notice how they all stay together as a group. If we were to bring four horses in here that didn't know each other, they would want to naturally be together, but one horse would be bossy, would chase the other ones away. They would sort of jostle and fight for position. Me as a leader, I'm going to come in and put them together. If you can not pat them, that would be wonderful. I don't want them to think there's someone nicer out there than me. It was always a saying in Australia, if you like me, don't pat my dog, because I want him to like me more than someone else. So these aren't dogs, but it's the same thing with horses. And for those of you who don't know much about horses, if you want me to like you, when you come up to me in an open crowd, if you say, "Excuse me, sir, can I please pat one of your horses?" you will get more respect from me than walking up and just throwing your hands onto my horse or pulling at their lead, because a lot of people seem to think because they're an animal that they have a right to do that. These are my children. These are my family. They're second in my life only to my beloved family members, my dear wife Emily. If you came up and put your hands all over my dear wife Emily, I'll get angry. She will smack you out. Same with the horses. You don't go up and pat someone else's child. You really, out of respect for the animals and for the people, we should never go and pat someone's dog or cat. Cats don't even let their owners pat them, so that's not much of an issue. You'll notice as I move them around that I'm doing very little on the young horse that I'm riding, and the horses in front are doing a lot. That's what being a master or being a true leader looks like, is that we shouldn't have to do a lot to accomplish a lot. You'll notice that I keep my hand very still. The horse that I ride is a young horse. You won't see him in the show tonight. He'll be probably in his stall on Facebook, because the young ones like to do that. No, he won't. It'll be Twitter or something like that, they tell me. So you'll notice I'm riding him along. He's a 3 coming 4-year-old, so he's not quite 4. And he's probably only had 3 months of formal training in his life. But he gets to come out here and to be my legs, because it's a lot easier for me to do this from him than it is to do it on foot. As I'm going around here, I'm looking for them to start to team up. I always say to Lightning, Lightning's the one with the white face, I always say to him, "Lightning, there is no I in team." And he goes, "No, but there is an M and an E." I'll give you a few minutes, you'll get that, and you'll think I'm very clever. Lightning's all about lightning. So what I'm going to do is move them around. I'm going to step this horse up, and I'm riding very traditionally like our stockmen and women in Australia. When we're just riding along, we like our horses to be relatively loose. You'll notice I don't have a huge droop in the rein, but the rein's loose enough that he can stretch and be comfortable. When I stop riding, he should stop hard here. I should look over my shoulder and he should go the other way. I'm going to work on the bubble here, because the bubble has got a little bit wide. Very nice. So basically I pressed on him until I said, "You need to go over there and be a part of the team." So you'll notice while I'm doing this that the horse is standing still. That is the physically most easiest thing that they can do. But mentally and emotionally, it's quite hard. If a horse gets worried in any shape, way or form, his biggest fear is that something will come up and eat him. They are basically like a big rabbit. They're worried, they're very cute, they're very cuddly, but they're worried about being someone's next meal. Very nice. I'm going to ride over here. I quite expect Lightning to do exactly what he's doing, and I also expect Spin Abbey to do it. And I expect Ozzy to do what he's doing here. The reason I expect that is because I've done enough with them to know who they are. I'm going to leave Ozzy there. And then I'm going to go and work on them and work one-on-one. I'm going to go and grab my number 1 horse, and I'm just going to body position this horse here. So that one with the black line down his tail, I want him. And because Spin Abbey and him are besties, I'll get both of them. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to pick up Ozzy, and then I'm going to work on Lightning. So because I'm here in a training fashion, I'm going to work on the bits that aren't great. This boy here is my number 1. He comes out and he salutes, and even when he's funny, he's always obedient. Lightning, when he's funny, not necessarily so. So I'm going to bring the 3 here, and now I'm going to go to this horse here. Now, in my show, if he runs away, the biggest thing for us when we work with animals is to not get angry when they're doing what we consider to be the wrong thing. Lightning doesn't feel a need to do what he's told. I remember being the same at his age. So as I'm going around here, I'm actually going to use that with Lightning, because he's sort of saying, I'm more than happy to stay away from the group. And I say, well, that's good. So I'm going to use you to educate the horse that I'm on. For this horse that I'm on to be a good stock horse, he needs to be able to read the intentions of stock. So when this animal stops, he needs to stop. He even looked at me. I like when this horse will look as well. I'm going to ride towards him, and I'm pretending that he's a cow or a sheep or another horse. You'll notice that Lightning turns his head but doesn't move his feet. He likes to do a lot with his head because then he doesn't have to breathe heavy. I'm going to push in here on him. Lightning's showing off. Because yesterday morning I did this and he ran around like a motorbike. So you'll notice that Lightning comes over, and something that I've been told here yesterday was people were quite impressed that I wasn't treating them. I wasn't giving him something to eat, and I wasn't patting him, and I wasn't loving on him. A lot of people come up to me, and there seems to be 2 different things they say. They either say, we think it's amazing that you don't discipline your horses. You're never angry at them. You're never upset. And I listen to that. And then I have the other side come up and say, you don't reward them. You don't feed them and you don't pat them. And I say, well, you're both wrong. I am rewarding all the time, and I'm disciplining all the time. When we were children, my dad didn't have to give me a $1 note or 50 cents for me to do something for him. We would do anything for our dad just to have him smile, just to be in his presence. And he clothed us, and he fed us, and he looked after us, and we did the stuff because we wanted to be around him. That's what I get my horses to do. Have a look at them. If I fed them anymore, they'd get diabetes and they'd be too fat, because I already feed them and love them and look after them. And if I feed them just for doing this kind of stuff, then they'll go, wow, if I need a carrot to walk beside you, I might need a licorice to trot with you, and I better have a cream pie to canter. But he just says, I'm going to come out, and I want to know what I have to do to get to do what those 3 lazy ones are doing. Those 3 lazy ones have already done what you've done. They know to do exactly what I ask, when I ask, and when you're that way, I'll probably be working honour, and you'll be standing still in with the group. So I'm going to come and test that again, because I really had plans that he would say, no, you can't control me, and I would really get a good workout session on honour. So I'm going to push on him again. Push here. And basically what I want to do is play keep-aways. I want to keep him away from the other team. It doesn't work when you're really obedient, but that's nice. That's a good thing. I'm going to take him there, and I'm going to push on Spin Abbey here. Spin Abbey is my great ridden horse. He's the horse that I will ride this evening, and you'll see him canter sideways and canter backwards, and he's incredibly special. And you might say, well, why aren't you riding him now? Because he's incredibly special. I want to look after him. I want to have him as long as I can, and I want you to come back at 7 o'clock to watch him. So here, as I ride around with those 2, you'll notice that it should look very easy. When I look over here, he should side pass. I have a lot of people say to me, it doesn't look like you're doing anything. And that's because really I'm not. Horses, when they do anything in life, they think it first, then they add physical action to it. So just my thought process of I'm going to trot off here is enough for the horse that I'm on to listen and for the others to back it up. Now, if you saw me with an untrained horse, you would see me think it, then you'd see me squeeze with my legs, then you might see me tap with my whip to make the horse I ride go, and the same thing with these. But because I have the thought process first, then the horses start to live off of that. And what this is teaching me, and I can think of nearly everything I know of being a man, how my horses have taught it to me. And I tell you, it's an incredible thing to be able to be with others and think about something and have them pick up on it and do it. But it is an awful thing when you go into the human world and try and do the same thing. I stand around with my darling wife thinking what I want all the time, and it doesn't happen. But that's okay, because I need to know that there's, it's a lot more mutual with what we do. And my horses do exactly what I ask when I ask, and I'm thrilled that my wife just wants to spend time with me. I'm going to take Ozzy, bring him from my right up to my left, reach out my hand towards Spin Abbey, which is just a cue for him to stand still until I call upon him again. Because he's my most brilliant horse, he finds standing still very hard. And I'm not here to show him today. I'm just here to get him out of the stall so that he can have a stretch. He's more here because if I took the other horses away, he wouldn't go crazy, but he would call for them. He likes to be a part of the team. So I'm going to leave him be in the team here today. And you know what? See how Spin Abbey gets to stand over there in the wrong position and doesn't have to be perfect, whereas Lightning, I'm going to expect him to be absolutely perfect. That's because Spin Abbey can canter sideways and canter backwards. He's got more bells and whistles than you, Lightning, and he gets rewarded for that. And I don't want my horses to think that there's teachers' pets, but I want to know that if you put extra effort in, that you'll get extra reward. So my horses sort of know if they try harder, things get a little bit nicer for them. I'm going to come sideways through here. I'm just looking for this young horse. See if he can stand straight for me, it'll make it easier. Good boy. I'm going to see if this young horse can eventually one day do what Spin Abbey will do. Spin Abbey canters sideways through these gaps, and this little boy is trotting them. And one day he'll get strong enough and be powerful enough to do it. You'll notice that Lightning isn't quite straight. Lightning's motto is, I'll do it my way. So I'm going to see if we can do that again. And I'm just looking for those horses to just wait on me until I ask, but our main focus is the horse that I'm on. I just want him to do what we call staying completely underneath me. So when you see me ride, you'll see my hands are very still. I do have hold of them, which for someone with a cowboy hat, you might think I have too much hold of them, but if you'll notice, the reins just hang over my fingers. So basically all I'm doing is just holding the reins so I can get him to concertina to come together. Even here, with the reins on his neck, he stays what we call in the bridle, and he stays between my aids and continues to flow around. Here I'm going to take him and stop, and I'm going to work on Lightning's side pass to me. And yesterday morning, this was obsolete. He'd thrown it away. Basically, when I train my horses, it's like you give them licenses. I give them a license to lay down and a license to side pass with me or to stand still. Lightning has a whole wallet full of licenses, but he will stand in front of me on days and on occasions and tear them up and giggle in front of me, saying, I do not know how to lay down anymore. But he's remembering here today. So I'm going to leave Ozzy there. The only really thing that I want, a lot of people believe when they watch my shows once, that I have a routine, that I do the same thing every time, and then my horses remember the routine and come out and do it. And that's not the truth. I don't want my horses to anticipate anything. All I want them thinking is, Dad might need me, I'm just going to wait until he needs me. And when you watch this, for many years I've been told that my horses are specially bred, that there's something magical about what I do with them. There is nothing magical and there is no special breeding in these horses to do what they do. There's special breeding in every one of them to work a cow, to have good feet, good bone. But the reason they come and do what they do is because they've been taught manners. When I first teach them anything, I don't go to a young horse and say, I'm your best friend, I love you dearly, anything you want you can have for free. Who as parents does that? I've done that. Because as a parent, you want your child to love you, and the more you give them, you think the more you will get in return. But there needs to be a line and there needs to be reward for good things. So I say to my horses in the beginning of their training, I will be your teacher and you will be my student. You will learn to say yes, you will learn to say please, you will learn to say thank you, and you will learn to say sorry. They already come knowing how to say no. I think it was my daughter's first word. Is we, as humans and as animals, we all know how to do what's right for us. But I say to my horses, if you believe in me, I will do what's right for you. And I will look after you and take care of you. So this here is basically when I raise my whip and ask Lightning to come to me, it's the same respect that I have when I open the door for a lady or when I help an older person across the street. It's not because I think they're weak, it's because I think so highly of them that I want to benefit their day. So when this boy side passed over to me like that, it is that respect that he comes over to me because he wants to benefit my day. I'm going to leave him there. I'm going to take Ozzy. And I want to show you that in this, that every horse that we work with and every human we work with is an individual. I'm going to ask this horse to lay down, and in my mind and in my life as a master, I'm asking him too much. But with Ozzy, I have to. Ozzy's a little bit like your grandfather who doesn't turn on his earphones. So I have to ask a little more. You'll notice, though, I don't ask this horse the same way. I'm going to bring Hope here. So even though I have 3 different horses and I have a method and they all do the same things, I ask them the same, but will then go to the level that they need. I'd really love to thank the Big E for coming out and preparing this arena for me, because laying a horse down, it needs to be a good surface. So thank you for coming out and doing that, and thank you all for being so patient. You'll notice that this little boy, however, when he does it with a little bit more life. I don't have to ask as much. Very nice, good boy. If I do that in Australia or Canada, people clap, but it's up to you. Don't feel pressured or nothing. Thank you. So I'm just going to see what Lightning's going to do here. Lightning's already decided to get up, so I'm just going to go with that. I'm going to circle here and stop, and I'm going to take Lightning from my left and bring him up to my right. And I've just started to do this at home, where I leave them down for longer periods of time, because in my show, he has to stay down long enough for me to pick up my other 2 horses to side pass over. So I'm going to lay him down again. He's sort of telling me that this arena's surface is not as good. Oh, I hope you're beautiful. Thank you. So I'm going to just help him here again. The other horses have stayed down. This boy is just telling me that, as I said with him, he's got a little bit of a switch, this boy. He wants to do it his own way. Good boy. Just going to wait on him here. I'm going to let him hop up again. Now, with these 2 big boys on the left, this would be too much for them to pop up and down. But you see how easy this horse does it? Because he does it so easy, it's like it's too easy. So I'm going to leave those 2 there. You'll notice Spin Abby saying, Dad, do you need me? No, mate, I need you tonight. You just have a rest. I'm going to take this young horse here, see if the young boy will stay on the ground. The horse that I'm riding is a full brother to the one on the ground. He's 2 years younger, and I'm really proud of him. He's going to do today what Spin Abbey will do tonight. We're going to put the 3 over the top here. Thank you. So, you notice when Lightning wasn't in the frame of mind to do it, I didn't ask him for it. I think that's the biggest thing when we work with people, especially when we're trying to teach someone. And I'm much better with horses than I am with people, because the more patient you are with the horse, the quicker he understands something. Sometimes the more patient you are with a person, the more they'll walk over you and say, well, he'll just be patient and wait. So that's something I fight with. But with that beautiful boy there, he said, you know, I'm popping up and down. He basically tries to. He's the kind of horse that in my whole career, he's tried to upset me. And what I mean by that is he's tried to do the opposite of what I tell him to do, because he sincerely feels that he has the best idea. Horses do that for a reason. They are born as a prey animal, and they assume that everything's going to eat them because that's what has been bred into them. That's why a horse will run away from something we cannot see and cannot hear, because he can feel it. So I'm saying to my horses in every breath, I am not a predator. I may smell like one. I may have the eyes of one out front of my head. I may eat like one, but I am not here to be a predator to you. So he was saying, look, I'm trying to upset you. And he goes, I can't upset him. I just do what I'm asked. And so that's the biggest thing. If we can stay calm in situations, you see road rage and stuff like that, where people get amped up and they stop thinking and they just start doing. If someone could take a deep breath, close their eyes for 20 seconds, there'd be a lot less fights. There'd be a lot less worry and anger in the world. And horses have taught me that. It is natural instinct when someone doesn't want to do what we ask them to do, that we get angry and we try to put ourselves over the top of them. You are kidding yourself if you think that as a puny human you can beat a wonderful animal like this for strength and for power. But if you take a deep breath and you act like you never wanted it anyway, they will do it for free. They're the most incredible animals. And I want to thank you all for being here today. And I wish there was more of you here. Please go home. We've got 2 more days. Go home and tell your friends and family to come and visit us, because I want these arenas to be full. If we can fill them for people who, rock singers and that, who sing 3 words for 3 minutes long with music, we can fill them for horses and animals like this. Thank you so much to Big E for keeping the animals in front of us. And I just hope, it's my dream that 300 years after I'm gone, that this arena is full, or a new arena is full of people loving animals and loving horses. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for internationally renowned Australian horseman Guy McLean and his wonderful horses. He will be performing this evening in between our classes, as well as our many draft horse breeds will be featured this evening. We get underway at 6 p.m. this evening. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon here at the fair, everyone.